Guys, I got a minute to talk to you guys, so I wanted to talk about this idea that I've had floated in my head for like a week. I just need to get it out there. It has to do with Taylor Swift's song, Look What You Made Me Do. Now, 2 weeks ago, this song was like all the buzz. Everybody was like up-thumbing it, sharing it around. There was like 3 different music videos officially done for it. There was a whole bunch of dance troupes trying to be like the best synchronized dancing outfit to come out with a dance to it, like immediately the same week it was released. So yeah, I spent the week looking at a whole bunch of hot young girls. Yes, I did. And they were all, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. You know. So I was watching that, and then I came across a video where it was Right Said Fred, okay? Old fucking band from my youth, who they had a similar song called I'm Too Sexy. I'm too sexy for my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy, yeah, it hurts. That song, right? So, in the liner notes of her album, Taylor Swift credits that song with being the inspiration for her Look What You Made Me Do song, because it has a similar beat, right? But then I looked around and I found that actually people were comparing her song to another song by Meghan Trainor and yet another song by Black Eyed Peas. And I realized it was probably a lot more financially advantageous for her when people started comparing her to Meghan Trainor and to the Black Eyed Peas with her limited release of the song, to then find a song that sounded like hers that predated any song that people would have popularly accused her of plagiarizing, right? So she lets her producers listen to her like, what song sounds similar to this, you know? And they came up with Right Said Fred, a little fucking one-hit wonder, from my childhood. And so instead of giving millions and millions to a more popular act that she probably was inspired by, by listening to her contemporaries, instead she picks an artist that predates her life and basically any time that she might have been listening to the radio, and says, well, that's the inspiration. Why? Because she could probably give them a byline in her album, like she did, and maybe 10 grand, and cheaply buy an excuse for her song sounding like Meghan Trainor and Black Eyed Peas, right? So, yeah, I was like, this is kind of an ingenious thing, and I've actually seen it in practice elsewhere. Like when I accused somebody else of plagiarizing the style of his interpretation of Noah's Ark, from another guy's work where all the same points were hit. And he's like, oh no, I didn't borrow from that guy. These points have been around since the time of Ovid. So he goes like fucking ancient history, right, to find a philosopher like that he's going to then ascribe his inspiration from, right? Instead of admitting that, his work looks a lot like, all the points that were hit by a very recent person in history that actually you can find way more websites talking about. And it would be like if I were to say, I've come up with a screenplay, and my movie is going to be about a guy who walks on water and came to Earth to heal people, and he loves everyone, and he was born around the winter solstice, right? And of course, people would say, oh, you're just plagiarizing the story of Jesus, or the Matrix. Anyways, they would be like, dude, you're not being original, and that's the story of Jesus. And I'd be like, nope, actually, I was inspired by the story of Horus, because he actually did all those things before Jesus did. Like fucking, that's what it would be like. So, yeah, Taylor Swift fucking crediting an obscure band instead of her contemporary, like, multimillionaire adversaries in the market for people's ears nowadays. I think it was probably a prudent business decision. And, yeah, she's not giving them more money to come back with another hit to drown her out of the radio market.